Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betcraft. All right, today is another beautiful Wednesday morning, and as usual, so many games going on across the globe. And even though we have our international break at the moment, but we'll still be able to dive deep. Get some of the games that are going on across the globe, even South America and the rest of them. Before and we have this game looked into before bringing it forward for you. All right. I want to use the opportunity to thank those of us who, decided to appreciate me yesterday. That was my birthday. Thank you very much for all those wonderful wishes. All right. Also, I want to ask those of us who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe. Please kindly take out time to hit the subscription button down there so that you won't be missing out on our subsequent games that will be coming up on this channel on a daily basis. Okay. That being said, without further ado, let's head to the business of today. And today, going to Peru. Uh, Peru second division where we have Santos coming up against Alianza University. All right, and looking at how these two teams are fared in recent times, and also take a look at their performances from home and away perspective. So before making our verdict on this very tie, and we look at Santos, the home side have actually won 3 games in the last 6 matches, and they've also had 2 losses as well as 1 draw. And the away side, Alianza have actually won 4 games and have had 2 losses in the last 6 games that they have so far. And when you look at Santos, the home side from home and away perspective, you can see that they're playing from home. Santos have actually won 3 games and out of the past, 10 home encounters, and they've had 2 losses as well. But they've also had 5 draws in the last 10 home games that they have so far. And looking at Alianza, their away side, playing from away, they've actually won 6 games from away. They had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 10 away games that they have so far. And when you look closely, you see that most of the games for Alianza have actually produced lots of goals. We saw them playing out a 4-3 victory in the last away game that they had. Prior to that, we also saw them, playing out losing out to Santos by 3 goals to 2, from away as well. That was earlier this September. Okay, when you look at head-to-head perspective for both sides, you could see that last time they met was in September 16th. Santos won on that occasion, playing a 3-2 victory against Alianza. Prior to that, we also saw they playing out a 2-2 draw. That was in August. Alianza University that played from home on that occasion, and it was ended a draw for both sides. That tells you a 2-2 draw actually. That tells you that these very teams, they like to score, and also 7 games out of the past 10 away games for Alianza Arena have actually produced so many goals, over 2.5. So in this very encounter, without spending so much time, we'll definitely see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very one. Over 2.5, that's our value for that very game. And that will take us to the next but today, also in Peru, second division, where we have Comerciantes, will be up against Juan Pablo College. And when you look at Comerciantes, that have won only 1 game in the last 6 matches, and they've also had 2 losses as well as 3 draws. And the away side, Juan Pablo have actually managed 4 wins, 1 draw, as well as 1 loss in the last 6 recent games for both sides. And when you look at Comerciantes, the home side, in the last 10 home games, you could see that they've actually won 6 games out of the last 10 home games. They've actually had 4 draws. They've not lost any single match in the last 10 home matches that they have. So far, that tells you a lot about this side, and that they don't lose any match from home. And when you look at Juan Pablo from away, they've actually won 4 games from away. They've had 1 draw, but they've lost 5 games as well in the past 10 away games that they had. Bringing it down to how these two teams fared from head to head. The last time they met, it was in September. We saw Juan Pablo defeating the Comerciantes by 3 goals to 2. But prior to that, we also saw Comerciantes having a victory over Juan Pablo. It was a 1-goal victory on that occasion, 1-0. And in this very one, we know that Comerciantes never loses, especially when they are playing from home. And we really do expect to see the home side, achieving a result against this very side. And our verdict for this very game is actually the home side either to win or draw and end up 4.5. That's what we expect. Okay, and that takes us to the next game. Okay, actually in Costa Rica, we'll have AD Sarchi coming up against Carmelita. Okay, and when you look at the recent game for the home side, AD Sarchi, the home side have actually managed 2 victories in the last 6 games. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 6 encounters. All right, and looking at our away side, Carmelita, they've won 2 matches, 1 draw, but they've lost 3 games out of those, out of the last 6 games that they had in recent times. When you look at how these two teams fared from home and away perspective, AD Sarchi, the home side, have actually been able to manage 7 victories in the last 10 home games. They've also had 2 draws as well as 1 loss in the last 10 home games. Right, when you look at the away side, Carmelita have won 3 matches from away, but they've also had 3 draws and they've lost 6. They've lost 4 games in the last 10 away games that they have so far. So 3 wins, 3 draws, as well as 4 losses. And the last away game they had was a loss against Kipos Boots, where they lost that by 4 goals to 1 on that occasion. And we saw AD Sarchi in the last home game winning against Kofukta by 4 goals to 0. So that tells you AD Sarchi, they don't play when they're playing from home. They actually win their matches when they're playing from home. But the last 2 times they met with Carmelita from home, actually saw them playing out a draw on those 2 occasions. All right, and the last meeting for both sides was actually a draw, 2-2 draw. But on that occasion, Carmelita played from home, and in this very one, we definitely expect the home side to not lose in this very game. So we expect to see the home side either winning or draw, but under 4.5 once again. So home win or draw and under 4.5, that's our verdict for that very encounter. Okay, and that takes us to the next for today, and it is also South America. In Venezuela, we will have Trujillanos coming up against Heroes de Falcon. Okay, when you look at Trujillanos, it's actually in Venezuela's second division, and for the home side, Trujillanos have actually won 3 games and in the last 6, and they've had 3 draws as well, and Heroes de Falcon have actually won 2, they've lost 2, as well as drawing 2 in the last 6 matches for their away side. When you look at how these 2 teams have performed in from home and away perspective, can also say that Trujillanos, the home side, have actually won 4 games from home, and they've also had 5 draws and one loss in the last 10 home games that they had. They've had more of draws, when playing from home, and actually they've won 40% of the home matches, losing just 1. All right, but the away side, on the other hand, Falcon have actually managed to achieve 3 wins from away, 1 draw, but they've lost 6 games in the last 10 away games that they had. As a matter of fact, the last 2 home games that they had, last 2 away games that they had, saw them losing out all those 2 away games, and the last time they met, it was Falcon that played from home on that occasion, and ended up being a 1-1 draw. And prior to that, we saw Trujillanos playing from home, and they had a 5-0 victory against the Falcon on that occasion. That was earlier this year in June. Okay, and that is to say, each time Trujillanos played from home, they actually do very well, and we definitely expect Trujillanos, the home side, to achieve a result against this very side. It is a home victory, home win. That's our value for that very game, and that takes us to the next which up on the day, the last for today. It is in Wales Premier League, where we have the New Saints coming up against Caernarfon Town. Okay, the New Saints have actually won 3 games, but have lost 3 as well in the last 6 matches that they had, and the away side have won 4 games, losing 1, as well as 1 draw in the last 6 matches for the away side. When you look at how these 2 teams are fared in recent times from home and away perspective, you can see for the TNS, the home side, they've actually won 6 games in the last 10 away home games. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 10 home games that they had. And when you look at their away side, Caernarfon Town, they've actually been able to manage the 4 victories from away. They've had 2 draws as well as 4 losses in the last 10 away games that they had. When you take a look at performances from head-to-head perspective, you can see that TNS have been quite dominant of this very time. Out of the last 10 meetings for both sides, it has always been TNS who have actually won on all occasions. And the last time they met was in April this year. We saw TNS defeating this side by 7-1. 7-1. That's a very, very huge one for huge result. And also, still the same TNS having a 8-1 victory against this side. That was in February this year. So TNS have actually been quite dominant of this very time, winning 10 out of 10 against this very side. So in this very game, we definitely expect the home side, TNS, to achieve a result in this one, to win out shortly, and also home win and over 2.5. Also score a minimum of 3 goals in this very one. So home win and over 2.5. That's our verdict for this very encounter. All right. And that brings our positions for you today on Betcraft to a conclusion. I wish you the very best of luck. Just like yesterday, we were able to win all our games yesterday. And good luck. All right. Play responsibly as well. But also remember that tomorrow is another day and we'll be coming up with our predictions on this very channel. So do not miss out. But until then, keep winning.